Hello Ramen Nation, Chris Cobain here, and I am bringing you the first video for week 4 for season 2 of the NPA against Joedor and the Seattle Seakings. So last week we took on my boy Galactic Elliott and the Chicago Cub Shoes, and we played well, to put it lightly. We played pretty well there. We ended up with a 3-0 victory, which I was really happy with. And this week is quite possibly the scariest week yet. Seriously. So real quick disclaimer, a little bit of construction going on in my house. Most of you guys are aware. So if you hear like hammering or something to that effect, I apologize. Not much I can do about it. It's happening about around the clock at this point. So if you do hear it, I apologize. But anyway, like I said, Joedor, co-commissioner of the NPA and the head coach of the Seattle Seakings, he's 3-0, our second straight undefeated opponent, which is not good. I'm scared. And like I said, this is the toughest opponent for us so far, and I think it's not very close. So let's go ahead and take a look at his team. I'm very scared. First off, we've got Clefable, and Clefable forces an instant guessing game. He can do a lot of things really well. 2 very good abilities. You got Magic Guard, of course, which stops Stealth Rock damage, Toxic damage, Will-O-Wisp, whatever, stuff like that. And of course, it's got Unaware, which ignores all stat boosts. And I have a lot of stat boosting Pokemon, and I've done stat boosting in all my matches so far with the Swords Dance Chomp. Excuse me, the Swords Dance Chomp, the Calm Mind Celebi, we have Swords Dance Drapion, we have Dragon Dance Gyarados, we have Swords Dance Virizion potential. We even have like Nasty Plot Slowking. Everything on our team really can make a lot of use of boosting. So, but on the same side, we have a lot of Stealth Rockers. We have a lot of potential Will-O-Wisp, Toxic, stuff like that. So, I think it's like a 50-50 shot for him. I don't know which one he's gonna think is more important, but one of the main points of my game will be trying to figure out its ability early on by setting rocks, setting up Toxic on him maybe. We'll see what happens. Second, Crawdon, and one of the 2 things I fear the most in this match. Crawdon beats a lot of my team very, very well. I don't have a direct switch in for it, Virizion being the only one that resists both stabs. But not being very, you hear some hammering now, but not being very physically defensive, more of a special wall. Cobalion is the physical wall of the group. Knocks off a lot of things hard, can nearly one-hit Diancie with Aqua Jet. It's not incredibly fast. That's going to have to where I take my advantage of it, but I'm definitely scared of it. It's going to be terrifying. Could be Scarf, Banded, Dragon Dance, Swords Dance, Life Orb. We'll see what happens. Next up, Rotom Heat, the UU version of the Rotom, obviously, Fire type. Could be pretty scary. Wall, of course, physical or special. It could be a Scarf Tricker. It could be Specs. It could be pure offensive. I kind of expect with the team he's running for this to be defensive, honestly, but no guarantee of that. Mesprit, one of the Lake Trio. I'm not too observant on what kind of things this can do. It does the same stuff as Azelf, really. It could be a Stealth Rocker if he brings it. It could run Healing Wish. It could be something like that. Honestly, don't fear that too much. Gallade is next. We know Gallade could be AV or Scarf or a bulk upset. Very strong Pokemon, very strong attacker. I do have ways to handle it pretty easily. I'm not super scared of that either, but it could definitely be a threat. Sandslash, another physical attacker, Stealth Rocker as well. Spinner, Swords Dancer, Knockoffer, Earthquake Spammer. Can definitely do some work against my team, as well as being one of his 2 real hazard removers, the other which is kind of weird. Mega Manectric. What 135 base speed. Strong attack, Intimidate, or strong special attack, Intimidate, Volt Switch ability, Overheat, Flamethrower, Hidden Power, Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, of course. Outspeeds legitimately my entire team. My fastest Pokemon, I believe, being Mega Diancie at 110. So it's quite a bit faster than most of my team. I have the potential to run a Scarfer if I wanted to outspeed it. But he's got enough walls on my team to where I didn't really, I'm not sure if I feel like that. Gengar! It's Gengar, boys. Life Orb, Sash, Specs potentially, lots of coverage, very powerful, very fast, actually outspeeds my entire team, with the exception of Speed Tying Diancie, who he will be faster than this week, and you'll see why. Haxorus is the other thing I fear the most. Him and Crawdaunt. After a Dragon Dance, this thing legitimately has the ability to sweep my entire team with the exception of Gligar and Slowking somewhat. I'm going to have to play around this. If he brings it and Crawdaunt, it could be a very big problem for the team. I'll have to play very, very well if both show up, and it's a very, very good chance they both do. He does have the ability to fear bringing both. Crawdaunt does have things that destroy it, like Virizion. Haxorus has things that destroy it, like Diancie, like Garchomp, unless he gets Dragon Dances off, which will be hard for him to do, I promise. But very scary, very powerful. Ferroseed is the reason that Gengar will be outspeeding Diancie in this match, because I'll be running Hidden Power Fire, spoilers, which means I can't be legitimately max speed. I have to be 30 IVs, which means Gengar is going to be faster. Thunder Wave, Gyro Ball, Rock, Spikes, Leech Seed, pretty annoying. Just the, you know, Little Cup version of Ferrothorn, still very annoying, not nearly as annoying as Ferrothorn. We dealt with Ferrothorn very easily in Week 1, so I have abilities to deal with this as well. And his final Pokemon is the one I said is his second hazard removal, but a weird one, Archeops. This would be the one Pokemon I don't expect at all. It is very fast, it can outspeed my entire team, but it has no ability to wall break most of my stuff. He's aware of that. It will not break Gligar. It cannot break Slowking. It can't even do damage, really, to Garchomp. So, slight possibility, I guess. But I really don't fear it. If he brings it, I'd love to see it, honestly, because if he brings it, I really doubt he brings Slash, and I really doubt he brings the Fog, which you know hazards, which means getting it done with Stealth Rocks. So, without further ado, long explanation of his team done. Let's go ahead and jump into my team. As per usual, we'll be showing you all 6 Pokemon in the order in which I drafted them. Moves, everything like that, only explaining why they have what they have and what the deal is. So, starting off this week for the 3rd straight week, he's leading off the team. It is my boy MC Hammer, aka Garchomp. Garchomp has put in good work, is I believe tied for 3rd or 4th in the MVP voting, MVP this season with the NPA. 5 kills, 0 deaths, very powerful. This one's running Jolly, Rough Skin because there's no reason to run Sandvale. Yachi Berry again. That's something that was kind of debated on. It's there for Hidden Power Ice. Manectric, which he will be bringing. He will most likely be expecting the Yachi Berry. I would be shocked if not. But that doesn't mean he can quite stop it. If his only answer to Garchomp left is Manectric, then we do handle that very well. Earthquake, Swords Dance, Stealth Rock. We really need a Stealth Rock or Dragon Claw. Pretty simple set. It is offensive. Its EVs are 36 HP, pretty little, 252 attack, 220 speed. It allows him to outspeed, of course, max speed Haxorus, which will be a running theme of this team, as you will see. So Swords Dance is on there because it can put in a lot of work against this team, being able to set up against quite a few things, including Pharaoh, including potential Sand Slash, and stuff like that. So we won't always 100% be able to set it up. I could set up in front of Clefable if I do find out it's Magic Guard. He doesn't die to a Moonblast, and with my second Pokemon in tow, Moonblast will be a risky play for him no matter what. Of course, Earthquake, Dragon Claw for stab. He's got nothing that beats both of them, and Stealth Rocks because we needed him really bad. Moving on to pick number 2 here. He made his debut last week, and he'll be continuing the run this week. It's my boy Make-A-Wish, Jirachi. And this one's it's out there. Jolly, Serene Grace, of course, and he's got leftovers. Iron Head because flinch spam, plus Clefable. Substitute because Clefable, because Rotom, because Pharaoh Seed, because we can very much expect things like Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp from Pokemon like that. Or Leech Seed, or Thunder Wave from Pharaoh for that matter, and set up a sub in its face. Toxic is simply because the 2 things that can really deal with Toxic would be, Magic Over Fable, dies to Iron Head, and Pharaoh Seed, which is why we have Fire Punch on it. So Toxic, if I can get a sub up, If he brings in like something like Rotom to try to overheat me, or Manectric to try to do the same, any chip damage in this match will be incredibly useful, incredibly powerful. Rocks are a big deal because of that. I would love to be able to chip on Rotom and Manectric with Poison, and the potential unaware Clefable with that as well would be huge. And then of course Fire Punch, I just said, is 100% for Ferroseed. It literally covers nothing else except for possibility of a weakened Manectric when I'm under sub, I guess. 72 HP, 200 attack, and 236 speed allows it to outspeed yet again. Max speed, non-Dragon Dance Haxorus, as I said. 200 attack is very specific. It allows me to do about 45% to a Haxorus with Iron Head, and you will see why I want that specific damage later. And plus, with 200 attack, he easily, I'm pretty sure he easily 2-hits Clefable, and he can easily 2-hit Ferroseed as well. Coming in at the third slot, excuse me, wow, I'm thinking week 4, week 3, it's all confusing. Coming in at the third slot, took its first week off last week, and is making its return now. It is Mega Me, because you all know, the Mega Diancie. This one's going to be running Timid, Clear Body, of course, dropping into Magic Bounce, and the Diancite. I mentioned before, it is rocking Hidden Power Fire for Ferroseed, which means it is not going to be able to outspeed a max, or be speed type with a max speed, Gengar. Both are base 110, but because I'm forced to be 30 IVs, he outspeeds me like 1 or 2 points, and it's obviously so. Common, easy moveset, Moonblast, Protect, Hidden Power, Fire, and Diamond Storm. This is pretty obvious. Moonblast is just for crazy damage. It does with decent rolls to hit a max defense Clefable. And Diamond Storm, even without investment on it, does to it a max special defense Clefable if it's running that. Protect is so I can Mega, of course. Hidden Power Fire is for Ferroseed. Again, pretty much only. And then, of course, Diamond Storm is just for wall breaking, hits Rotom really hard, can hit Gengar really hard. Of course, pretty common. Easily, if he brings Archeops, it one-hits that as well. This was running 100 base HP, 248 special attack, and 160 speed. You guessed it, to outspeed max speed Haxorus, because we can't speed tie Gengar, otherwise he would be max speed. 100 HP is just on there because that's the best way to put it in. But to note, he does actually live for max HP a Jolly Life Orb Aqua Jet from Crawdon, and it could allow me to stay in and one-hit that Crawdon potentially. Now, there's not really going to be a way for me to know if it's Adamant or Jolly until it starts doing some damage and I run some calcs, which I probably will be doing. But if I do figure out it's Jolly, honestly, expect me to stay in if I get the chance and take a bunch of damage to one-hit it, because it's such a threat. Plus, any HP on this thing is a big deal. So, moving on to the 4th spot this week. He's been doing well for me lately, and he pulled in some good work last week, and I'm hoping he's putting in some good work this week as well. It is going to be my boy, Drapion. Last week we ran that crazy Assault Vest set. This sweep is pretty normal. Adamant Battle Armor, because he doesn't need Sniper. Black Sludge, because we need to be bulky. Eevee's first are actually 64 HP, 252 attack, because he 2-hits Clefable. 172 special defense, and 20 speed. First off, 20, like I said, 252 attack is obvious. He needs the damage. 20 speed allows him to outspeed max speed Jolly Crawdon, because he can't be faster than Haxorus. The rest of it literally is thrown mixed into special defense and HP, because this thing is going to be big for me against Gengar. Obviously, right off the bat, could help me with Clefable, so he needs the bulk. Could help me with Rotom, needs the bulk. Could really help me with Mega Manectric to deal some solid chip damage. And he can take hits pretty well with this set. We ran some test runs. He takes them pretty well. Knockoff, because obviously. Poison Jab, because Clefable mostly. Pursuit, because we can Pursuit Trap Gengar, and Whirlwind can be big. It stops potential setup sweepers like Haxorus, like Clefable, like Crawdon, even like Gallade if that's the case. And of course we do have rocks, and like I said, chip damage is a big deal in this matchup, so anything if I can Whirlwind anything out, like a Dragon Dancing Haxor or a Manectric or something like that, then it could really come into play. We could Whirlwind out Ferroseed on the switch in or something to that effect, and all chip damage will be helpful for sure. Expect rocks up pretty early if I have any chance to. Moving on to the 5th slot. Last week we debuted Jirachi, and I told you guys that was the one of 2 Pokemon that have yet to be debuted, and this is the final Pokemon of the team. The last Pokemon yet to make its debut is making its debut right now in week 4. I mentioned it before, it's the only true way I have to really limit Crawdon, and it is Virizion. Virizion is a very diverse Pokemon. We've yet to see it do anything in the NPA Season 2, but expect it to go in to do some work today. Jolly, justified of course. Cabia Berry, that lowers the damage of super effective poison attacks. That is literally put on there so it can counter +1 Haxorus. It is the only thing on my team that counters +1 Haxorus. No matter what happens, I will chip Hax if he clicks Dragon Dance. I promise. There's no way I give it a free Dragon Dance. So once that's the case, we can come in and Revenge Kill with this. If he's carrying Dragon Claw, he does not quite OHKO at +1, and if he goes for Poison Jab, it barely does over half thanks to the berry. And I mentioned earlier about the Jirachi, the attack on it allowed Iron Head to do about 45%. That means that's because close combat will finish that off. So if I have Jirachi out, I can Iron Head. If I don't get a flinch, he Dragon Dances, he Earthquakes, Jirachi dies. I switched into this. Revenge Kill as he Poison Jabs or Dragon Claws. Is he out? If he outrages, he dies the Diancie. Easy peasy. 84 HP, 252 attack, excuse me, 172 speed. You guessed it, to outspeed Haxorus. He's got Close Combat and Leaf Blade, of course. Those are just stab moves, very high coverage. Synthesis so that we can continuously switch in on Crawdon and get our health back if that's the case. We do not, however, want to switch in on a knockoff if he has Haxorus, because that means I would be sweet fodder to Haxorus. So that's going to be a problem. And Swords Dance, of course, because again, if we find out he's Magikarp Clefable, a +2 boost to this can destroy basically everything on his team after rocks, except for Gengar, who I wouldn't stay on anyway because he's faster and he's Gengar. And that leaves us to our final Pokemon of the match, and yet again, this is one of the MVPs of the team. He's not quite Garchomp because he died last week. My fault, but he did. He's 5-1 in terms of the kill-death ratio. And he's going to be a very big deal this week. I can feel it. So we're running Subwoofer. He is timid. Yes, he's scrappy because of Gengar, of course. And he is Assault Vested. Dead serious. His EVs are 100 HP, 252 special attack, of course, and 156 speed, which allows it to outspeed max speed Jolly Crawdon. He actually outspeeds minimum speed defensive Rotom as well. And with Fire Blast and Boom Burst, he 2-hits the entire team with ease. Assault Vest is a very, very, very big deal. He 2-hits Rotom and is able to take any hit. He 1-hits Manectric, able to take even Thunderbolt, does barely over 50%. Gengar Focus Blast Life Orb, if it hits, does not OHKO. It does maximum like 90, mid-90 percentage, which could grant me a kill on Gengar. This thing could be very big for me if played right. He's not going to see the AV coming, I guarantee it. He will be expecting the specs or something to that effect. Now, I did bait Ferrothorn in week 1, so he could be expecting the bait in week 2 as well. That's fine, because he doesn't really have a switch in for Fire Blast either, because everything that switches in on Fire Blast is then dominated by Boom Burst. And, you know, obviously Crawdon, Rotom, both doing that. Haxorus even doing that. So he's got no direct answer to this, and it can take hits. We did debate running Wish on Jirachi to keep this thing alive, but in all the test runs, I never made use of Wish, so we ran Toxic instead because it's more helpful. And this is the set I'm happy with the most. I'm actually the one who came up with the Assault Vest. Reiki's the one who typically comes up with the crazy over-the-top items. He came up with the Assault Vest Drapion last week, but this week, I was the one who said, yo, what about AV Subwoofer? And we ran the calcs, and we liked him. Even Timid, he 2-hits a physically defensive Clefable. Even Timid, he has ability to 2-hit Ferroseed, even if it's max special defense, even if I click Boom Burst the first time. Easy 2-hit by Fire Blast. Max special defense Ferroseed takes it like, it's like 70% or something like that, which is not bad. I thought it was like 70 to 80 actually. So even if he switches in on Boom Burst after rocks, I do have the ability to possibly just Boom Burst then Fire Blast for the kill. And I'm looking for this guy to put in some work today. So that's my team. I think I got through everything there okay. Yes, okay, so let's bring back to Garchomp there because he's the first one. And that is it for this team builder, guys. As always, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure, if you have any questions on my sets, my spreads, or anything of the like, make sure you just ask a question in the comment section below. You're always free to ask. I will always answer the question because everything in here is very specific. We are very built to outspeed Haxorus. If he doesn't bring it, that's absolutely fine because I'd actually rather him not bring it. I don't even care. I would rather him not bring it. I'm so scared of it. I'd be ecstatic if it didn't show up. And it's a good chance he might not. He very well might not. And if he brings it, he may not bring Crawdon. I'm really hoping he doesn't bring both. That would be the scariest thing for me. But if he does bring both, we do have a way to work around it. In test runs, I was able to outplay the maneuvers enough to get a very, very tight 1-0 win against both of them. So that's the scariest part. We can't play around it. I do have the ability to win to this team, no, despite how scared I am, and I am very, very scared. If I play very, very well, I do have the ability to beat this team, so the game is, as always, on me, and we'll see what happens. But I'm rambling now. Thank you guys for watching the video, of course. I appreciate it. This is going up on Saturday, and the battle will be coming up tomorrow. If you're watching it the day it came out, of course, it'll be coming up on Sunday. So I hope to see that. I hope to see you there for that. We will be deciding one of the first 4-0 teams in the NPA this year. One of us will go 4-0. One of us will have our first blemish. Same situation as last week. I came on top last week, and hopefully with this team I can come on top again. That's it for me though, guys. I will see you on week 4 of the NPA against Joedor and the Seattle Seakings. I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you for week 4 match. For the week 4 match. I can't speak, alright? Alright, peace, Ramen Nation. See you guys in the match.